says he has a winning formula. That winning formula does not include going to court. Listen to him.
Adia ye communal labor. Nti wa we MPP ni awaba mabu be kan ho. Eza. Nti wa we MPP ni ayedidi eja ho. Awaba mabu no be kan ho. Na NDC ndi kunim. Mo party co oppositioner. No mo akọ Jeffrey Sankrofo omo age party no asoa no. Mo age Jeffrey omo nsem. Mo siesie mo party ni biom. Enioma aye be ye no. Ebeche pa ansana Ghana for ada ni omani ma hwe omo biom. Eza. Enti eda ne duru ho a ye nyina ye nyire ye ho na ye nto abani yie. Ye nto abani yie. Sene be ya etine bia embam. If you say etine ba mo a ene ebeka say oh ene mo fa nko court. Ye nim say court nso omo de omo krofo akoye ho ma. Enti e was say ye to abanu boom 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 boom. Ne doso. Sene be ya omo ka say omo court akoye bibia. Ye mpese ye court. NDC fo na abatwe one touch ye be win e polling station wa.
That was John Dramani-Mahama there. Let's get on the phone line and speak to Dr. Adam Bonner. He's a security expert and analyst with Security Warehouse. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny. Good morning to your listeners.
Great. I'm sure you heard the former president of the Republic. At this particular time, 28 days to the big election, he says his winning formula doesn't include going to court. First, your initial thoughts about what the former president said.
Well, good morning, Johnny. Good morning once again. Well, I think that I would rather, as a people, we learn to be vigilant. I would rather, as a people, we learn to keep the peace and maybe avoid anything that will send us into disputes. That way, we don't go to courts. Because then, if I lock my door very tight, if I ensure that my, money, assets and all that are well kept, then there won't be the need for a thief to break into or, steal them for any prosecution to begin. That way, I avoid the court. So by that logic, I would say I will support the former president 1,000%. And if you are going to go by the orbiter of the commentary by the Venerable Justice Atuguba, who is now retired, you don't come to court to win an election. You win an election at the polling center. So by that orbiter or by that commentary from the Venerable Justice Atuguba retired and other rulings, another commentary from all over the world, I am tempted, and I would say without any fear, that the former president is 100% right. Why would you go to court if you are vigilant? If you are vigilant, chances are that whoever you are competing with would also remain vigilant. Once there is I don't steal from you and you don't steal from me, when I win or when you win, it is clear. And no one will go to court. Why do you go to court? You go to court because you disagree with me or I disagree with you. And so, Johnny, I would support the call by the former president, His Excellency John Dramani-Mahama, that there shouldn't be the need to go to court because then everybody should be vigilant. And I think I said it recently at the Democracy Series program.
Right.
That each person going to vote on the day, D-Day, including yourself, Johnny, your in-studio panelists, for you guys, you keep us informed. And so definitely it might not go directly to you. But everybody should go to the polling station to vote with a plastic chair or a kitchen stool. When you go, don't go home. Stay there.
I see.
Look for a place around the corner and sit till your ballot is counted and declared. Let's all march to the collation center after voting. Make sure your votes are counted at the polling station. March to the collation center and make sure your votes are equally counted and declared. Then once that is done, if you want to go to the next adjoining constituency or polling station to support the candidates or the party you support, move there and do it.
But is that not going to compound? Is that going to compound the work of the security?
It won't. Listen, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what. It would rather make the work of the security very easy.
How so?
See recently the guys who loaded money in bags, and they some whether it was staged or not, but some people shot and took the money away. If these guys were vigilant, you think the state security, the police, IGP and his people will deploy police to look for them? No. If these guys were a little bit vigilant, the guys who were carrying the money...
The Adabraka robbery incident, you mean?
Yes. If they were a little vigilant, we wouldn't be expending or spending resources looking for these criminals. But they were not. And so it would not, you see, so long as we are civil, listen, so long as we are not rowdy, so long as we are... Well, when you go to Mokola, people, sometimes you have to, push people away to go. But do you see the police complaining that when you go to Accra Central, it's difficult to walk because there are too many people? No. Because the people there are not fighting. The fact that I am there watching and the fact that I'm watching and everybody is watching, chances are that, Johnny, if there is a thief amongst us, he will not steal. But if we go home believing that no one will do anything, the thief will steal and steal big and tell you that go to court. And chances are that if my grandma is in court, I will tell you to go to court. If I have my grandma being the judge, or my grandpa being the judge, or my uncle being the judge, I would lure you into sleeping, or I'm going to ensure that I lace your drink with blue, and when you sleep, I'll steal from you.
Right.
And when you wake up, I tell you, listen, Johnny, I didn't take anything from you. If you think I did, please go to court. Because I know my grandma is there. Or I know my grandpa or my uncle or my niece or my nephew is there. And so mine is that it is not, it won't amount to any chaos. Everybody, after all, it is just about 24 hours or so if you don't eat, Johnny. If you don't sleep, and we all keep awake just to make this country safe for another 4 years or another 8 years, Johnny, why not? It was worth the sacrifice. So for me, to answer you directly, I would say that the only time there could be chaos would be when people go to sleep and they only wake up and they are told that, Charlie, they adjuni, then adjuni, no, before you, then people begin to fight. So for me, Johnny, I'll tell you that I support the call by the former president. I think that I have said that I want to hear the incumbent running, flag bearer, my brother, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, His Excellency, to also make that cry on call to the military that we do not need them at any polling center. And I have had the cause to argue with senior serving military officers in this country. And they agreed with me that it is a good call. Recently, they agreed with me that it was a good call. These are senior people in serving us. And my point, which I reiterated to them, was about three. First of all, the military is not trained to handle people who are rioting.
Right.
Civilians are rioting just with their hands and they are throwing stones and pelting stones.
Right.
That will not amount to using guns. The military is not trained and giving riot gear. The military is trained and giving lethal bullets. The military is not trained to de-escalate in situations like this. Their first line of defense is to shoot. And military is not trained to give warning shots. Tell me, where in war you have an enemy coming at you and you are shooting in the air. You aim and shoot at them. Even if you've not been to any war-torn country before, or you haven't been in that situation, or you don't have any knowledge, and you have watched a war movie, in which war movie have you seen military officers shooting in the air? They shoot at the target. But you will see police officers who, even at the peril of their lives, would de-escalate and detain someone who has a knife. But the military will kill you. So and when I argued with them in this line, they agreed. And I said, well, if you want to deploy military, are you going to deploy them for the first time in this country without weapons? They said no. I said, okay, we are going to the polling centers with our thumb to go and vote. We are going to riot with our thumbs. They agreed and said we won't. Well, some of us should tell the leaders, the commander-in-chief and the defense minister. I mean, that's what they told me.
Right.
I mean, I had a conversation with them, said, tell them that this deployment, then the military should not be deployed.
Right.
So I'm using your medium to say, top brass of the military think that the military should not be deployed. And so that the only way that we would avoid going to court could also be when the military is not deployed. That way, people will not feel cheated. Everything becomes transparent. Don't be caught by the 8th and 9th. Whoever has won is won, and then we go to bed, my brother.
I see. Now, what signal would this then send to some very ambitious or overly ambitious supporters of the political party? I mean, you know, some of them, it is a do and die affair for them. And sometimes they get very physical in trying to defend their party's position, or if you will, their ballot. What signal does this send to them?
It sends to, I mean, for me, if you ask me from the security point of view, I will tell you that, Johnny, it just helps you to be vigilant. Because if I told you that, Johnny, you see, at your studio, I've been there a couple of times. At your studio, go to sleep. Don't worry. When anything, we'll go to court. Chances are that, Johnny, when you close and you are going home, and the security people will also sleep, and then someone will break into the place, and the next thing is that Madam B will say, okay, let's get our lawyers. Let's get our lawyers to help us with the evidence, and then the prosecution to go to court. Meanwhile, you would be wasting time. But if your bosses, your employers, tell you that, you know what, please, we are not interested in going to court, so we'll make sure nothing is stolen, you are going to be vigilant. So for me, the signal is sent, answering you directly, is to be more vigilant. To be more vigilant. Ghanaians, we are not bad. I mean, I say it all the time. We are not bad. The only thing is that we are a bit laid back. And so these calls, when they come in, I say it is like a wake-up call. I don't think that you are going to have, if there are, let's say, 20 million voters at the moment, I'm not too sure the number,
right,
but let's say we have about 20 or 15 million voters. I don't expect that the 15 or 20 million voters will be going to the polls carrying weapons, will be going to the polls with the aim of, going to kill somebody. No, I mean, my two kids are voters. Both of them will be voting. And, I mean, I don't think that they are going to go to the polls with knives in their, pockets to know. Majority, 99.
But Doc, if you consider the fact that the last elections, 8 lives were lost, closure has not been brought to that matter, justice has not been served, people will obviously go to the polling stations knowing that the stakes are higher and that they must defend themselves and their honor at any point. And that's what I was driving at. The security implication of all of these statements.
No, you see, I agree with your line of question. But 2024 is a different ball game altogether. I have spoken to a lot of military, police, immigration. I mean, this is the space I work with. This is the space I work within. And I've received several calls saying what happened in 2020 was unfortunate. It was because a certain segment, they slept on their job. The police slept on the job. And I agree, because then we all know what happened before Opombwenu got sacked. Opombwenu slept, because then if you give proper directions to your officers, you won't have military officers coming in and taking over and shooting and killing people. And so we are still having conversations with the top brass of the, police and the rest of them in this country. And we are telling them that, you know what, this year we are not going to take any excuses from any of you. Make sure that your officers who are on the beat are going to restrain themselves, even at the peril of their lives. They should not shoot at people. And so it is the same thing I will tell those of us who are going to vote, that when we go, let's riot with our tongues. Let's not go. But if you look at, Johnny, you have the videos. Your media men were in Techiman. Your media men, I think I watched it first on your True
That's right.
Media.
That's right. We have that.
Did you see the people throwing stones in Techiman? I didn't see anyone pelting stones. People were disagreeing.
Right.
People were shoving one another to one side and all that. And the bullets started flying. Unless I want to be corrected. You see, when we don't look at these things objectively, depending on where people stand, sometimes they think that, this thing you are saying doesn't go for me. But a stray bullet could catch you and you will die. And so mine is that we are warning the security services, the forces, that we do not expect them to take the laws into their own hands. And closure must be brought to these killings that took place. Change of government must come with a lot of consequences. And those consequences, some of us would insist. But it must include investigating and bringing closure to Ayawaso West Wagon, bringing closure to Techiman, Neil and Vanderpoel's constituency.
Right.
The young man who shot and killed somebody, allegedly, he was apprehended. Have you heard anywhere where he has been sent to jail? No. I'm sure you know he was in the national security. I don't know whether
that's what we have been told.
Yes, allegedly. When the incident happened with all the evidence on the face of the evidence, on the face of whatever they took, that man has not been prosecuted. And so mine is that, yes, the call from the former president is a good call. I would say that both MPP, NDC, APC, Alliance for Change, Shada, and everybody should open their eyes. All of us are working around the clock to ensure that this year there shouldn't be any brutality. This year should be one of the most peaceful elections where we go into whoever wins, the person is declared president-elect, MP-elect, and then you are sworn in on the 7th, and then we go back to our normal lives, and it involves all of you. So for me,
I see.
Yeah.
Now, John Mahama is not alone in making this comment that won't go to court. Lord Comey, Director of Operations at the Presidency, is on record to have said that there's no eight to break because they're holding on to power and they will not, lose power. Brian Echampo, Minister for Agric, has been Deputy for National Security, Minister of State at the Interior Ministry, now at Agric Ministry, is on record to have made similar statements. The National Youth Organizer of the MPP, Salam Mustafa, has said that there will be no way this election will be sacrificed on the altar of peace. You have had General Asiedun Ketiawe say that, the elections will be won at the polling stations and there will be no court in Semsem. When you hear key political actors who have a lot of followership and influence making these statements, it looks like a ticking time bomb. What should the electorates do? Should they follow their leadership sheepishly, or should they apply conscience and self-composure so that they are not found in the line of fire, if at all?
I would say I will go with your last comment. They should find peace within themselves. They should go to the polling station. If you are MPP, go to the polling station believing that everybody in that area would vote for you. But should they not vote for you means that your party did not do well, means that people are hungry, means that people are not happy with your party. If you are MPP or NDC, go to the polling station believing that everybody would vote for you. If they did not vote for you, means that your party did not do its campaign well and the people don't trust your party. But if they also voted for you, both of them, if they voted for you, means that if you are the incumbent party, they see you to have done well. That is why they voted. And so don't go in there. As we speak, I have friends. Don't you know them? Some of them you will know who might have also spoken to you within the MPP.
Right.
Who will tell you, you see, they chopped the thing and they didn't give me some. You will hear some NDC person who is not also happy. The truth is that elections is about numbers. Let's not go there and sacrifice our lives, because if you die, you see the young man who went to that demonstration and his eye, they shot through his eye.
Right.
Eventually, he got an artificial replacement of an eye, but he died subsequently.
Right.
Have they installed a statue for him? No.
No.
The president, he was never shot through the eye. He was never even whipped. And the president has a statue that is being unveiled every day for him. This is somebody who went to a demonstration and he was shot and killed. So tell me whether there's a... So if you die, those who live will go and install themselves. They will get, like the T-West, Mamiya, Tiwa, and Co. They would install a statue for themselves.
But what is wrong with the Mamitiwa and the president's statue?
Oh, Johnny, you know.
No, I'm asking. I'm asking.
You know, Mami Atiwa is superintending over one of the biggest corruptions in Ghana. The president, look at where he installed the thing. You look at the place. Look at where he went to Jamestown. You know the Jamestown community.
Right.
You, Johnny, you are a Ghana Dangbe. You know Jamestown, don't you?
Right, I do.
You know, you are a Ghana Dangbe. You know Jamestown. I hear you talk about how you know what has happened to the lands in. I mean, I grew up among. I will call myself a fisherman. I grew up. And so mine is that if you go to Jamestown, what is there to write home about? That the president will go and unveil his own statue. And so mine is that Mami Atiwa, where this thing was done, he said he didn't know.
Right.
He said he didn't know. But the thing, this person calls herself a security couple, who even wanted to be IGP some time ago. And she said, I didn't know they were installing this thing for me. And you are still the Iyoku boss as we speak, and you haven't been fired. And the president, you go to Western Region. You know Western Region. I know them. I know them properly.
Right.
And you look at how deprived the Western Region is with all the resources.
Right.
And you go and do a statue for yourself, and you tell me that I shouldn't complain. If people were installing statues, I tell you that Kwame Nkrumah statues would have been maybe 1 million Kwame Nkrumah statues would have been everywhere in this country.
Right.
J.J. Rawlings, even UDS, he used his own pocket money to start the foundation of UDS. Go there and go and see whether his statue is there. Go to Legon, go to KNUST, go to UCC, go to Winneba. Who are the people who constructed them? Do you have their statues there? And so mine is that, you see, you leave these things for those people who probably think that you need to be honored, for them to honor you. And so mine is that you go to the one in Taprade, for instance, it has 24-hour security guard.
Right.
Security, the guard that they are supposed to be protecting us, they are there. It means that even on election day, the police that would have been deployed to go to a certain polling center to go and provide security, they are still going to be there, either with their armored cars trying to protect that thing. But the truth is, you see, going back to where we were, no army has ever defeated the will of the people, Johnny. No army, no security.
Right.
It didn't happen in Egypt. It didn't happen in Vietnam. It did not happen in Afghanistan. It didn't happen in Tunisia. It didn't happen in even Libya. And so I would tell, even in Burkina Faso, even in Niger, Americans were chased away from Niger. The French government was chased away from Niger. So no army has ever defeated the will of the people. It's the reason why when some crazy military officers want to do their thing, they usually court the support of the people, because then you can't do anything when the people support them.
I hear you.
Mine is that going into election 2024, we should be determined that things will be done right, and therefore they won't be caught. And so for me, Johnny, that is what I can say.
Thank you, Dr. Adam Bonner of Security Warehouse. We're grateful that you spent your morning with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And let's listen to Lord Comey, shall we?
I'm not coming to pamper you. Forget it.
It's on 92.7 Sunrise on 3
In
FM.
this conference today, our party leaders, I'm not addressing ordinary supporters. I'm sorry. I'm talking to leadership. the movers and shakers of this party. Munna musi engua ebegu. Munna musi ya masunia fanko ya dima ebekof. Na munna ahumbrasiemu menemo kase. Any yana. The front row yo. And the anya umobo. One ferry. Titus Glover. Okoboy. Okoboy Janaka. Minim said the dick the crowd also. Or your full minister. Now me catch that war. Bisa Chamai. And no one ye. Fuseni. Okaiko not ye lusuda. Miami diemu Ablekma Central. Obadi ndi Crow. Afole kwe. And the am ferry. So ferry.
The best in the morning.
Never again.
92.7. Sunrise on 3.
Is what we should resolve. Leaving this conference this afternoon. Never again that this thing would ever happen to the New Patriotic Party. The sacrifices that this party, and I can recount because I have always been there. Some of us are in Accra, yes, but Madaru Mani to me, and maybe a chemu. There is no village or hamlet we have never visited, and we continue to visit. So when we sit in Accra and we say ya brewa party, but ebinuma brechen what? There are people who are still suffering today. They are lying in sick beds in the defense of the New Patriotic Party.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.
Some of them lost their children. Some of them lost their parents. But they continue to cherish, to say that this is their party. Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but this is the time. If we can't say these things in conference, I don't know where else we would say it.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.
Break the edge. Break the edge. Break the edge. I done this slogan. Me am Gina Hedi. So far as I live, me dey be break it biao. To me no, me say me mfa ma wo mo ne. Me mfa ma wo mo china.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.